If you are a company and you want to be recognized by your brand logo, that is okay to use. If you are a like agency and have like maybe like 3 employees, 5 employees, you've got some LOs, try and do a company photo and do that as your profile picture if you can. Okay.
Welcome to the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. I'm Chelsea Gardner, and if you're ready to make marketing clear, manageable, and fun with practical steps and effective tools, you are in the right place, my friend. Together, we'll untangle the complexities of marketing your business and transform them into clear, actionable steps. Let's dive in.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Gardner, and I get a lot of questions about social media bios and what should be in them. So we're going to dive into that today. And I wanted to let you know that your bio is your first impression, right? So when you walk into a room of people, or you are at a networking event, or you're going on a first date, or whatever the case may be, right? Your first impression is so critical, and your social media bio is the same thing, right? So you can think of your bio as going on the first date with a potential mate, right? So you are wanting to attract the client of your dreams. You're trying to attract maybe your referral partners, your realtors, your t-shirt followers, right? Whatever you're doing out there in the marketing space, you're trying to attract those clients for you. And we want to make sure that those followers that follow you turn into customers and paying clients and potential leads, right? And we do that by showcasing who we are, what we do, and basically who we're going to help. So we're going to cover why a really strong bio matters, and elements that you need to be including within that bio, and some platform specific tips, because, there's so many platforms these days, and each one has its own quirks in some ways. And I'm going to share some examples of some great bios, or that I think are great bios. So let's start with why you even need a strong social media bio. And again, a strong bio captures the attention and really encourages people to follow you. So if I am trying to find someone to help me learn how to cook, right? And I come across this really awesome recipe, and they're showcasing how they're making this cookie recipe. I start to follow them, but then their content is all, I don't know, social media marketing. Well, that's not why I'm following them. I'm following them because they had a cookie recipe that they shared. So how I know that they are a recipe cookie maker is through their bio. Are they telling me that their brand communicates that they are as a cookie maker? So the tone of your bio will also show those people who you are, not your tone, your what you communicate inside of your bio will show you who they are and what they do. So if you are looking at creating a bio, I want you to understand that a well-crafted bio will more likely convert visitors to followers. Okay. If you do not have a well-crafted bio, if you just have your name in your bio, or you just have mortgage professional in your bio, that is not going to convert very well to followers. So think about that, right? Again, I'm going to your page to figure out who you are, how you can help me, what you do, and if I want to follow you. And if you just say mortgage professional, well, if I don't need a mortgage professional, I'm not going to follow you. And even if I did, I still probably wouldn't follow you, because there's no other substance to that. So let's talk about what makes up a strong bio. Your name and handle, right? So over on Instagram, here's one of the quirks. Over on Instagram, the only 2 things that are searchable at the moment when this is recorded is your name and your handle. Okay. So make sure that your name and your handle. So if to kind of break it down, your handle is like the Chelsea Gardner. Your name field typically is where people would just put Chelsea Gardner. However, because my handle is already the Chelsea Gardner, my name field is like social media marketing agency, right? Because those two fields are searchable. So if my handle already has my name in it, why would I put my name all over again in the name field? Because that's valuable real estate. So make sure that you are putting things in your handle and your name field that are searchable. Your name does not have to go in your name field, especially if your handle is already your name. Okay. Make sure that those things are recognizable. And if you can, try to keep them consistent across platforms. I know when you start building out your social accounts, sometimes what you want is not available across all your platforms, but try, right? So it's easy for me to tell you I am on all social platforms at the Chelsea Gardner. That is YouTube, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all of the platforms. If you search at the Chelsea Gardner or the Chelsea Gardner, some of them aren't at, that is my account handle across all platforms. Try to make it consistent. Okay. Use a high quality image that represents your brand for your profile pictures, preferably without a background or a very simple background. You don't want something busy. You want it to be close up on your face. If it is a professional profile, I don't recommend, having it far away or anything like that. You want it to be pretty close up of your face. And again, a solid color brand background or something not very busy, it's always going to be most beneficial. You want people to see your face. People do business with you, not your background, not your logo, right? So profile picture, high quality image. If you are a company and you want to be recognized by your brand logo, that is okay to use. If you are a like agency and have like maybe like 3 employees, 5 employees, you've got some LOs, try and do a company photo and do that as your profile picture if you can. Okay. Your description, tagline, depending on what platform you're on, needs to clearly state what you do and what your brand is about or who you serve. Have a call to action. So you want to encourage visitors to take some form of action when they visit your page. Do you want them to click your website? Do you want them to download a free guide? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to send you a direct message if you don't have a website to take them to? Whatever the case is, you want some form of call to action in your bio. And then you want to also make sure, this is one of the things that surprisingly I come across so frequently with clients or when I do bio reviews. So that is something that I do in my business, is a complete bio overhaul. And one thing that I do or that I find is that contact information is missing and or outdated. So a lot of times people will move companies and they won't change their contact information. They won't realize that their contact information is not changed or it's not consistent, or they have maybe their personal email for the contact information, thinking that was how they set it up, but it's not. So make sure that your contact information and links are all accurate and set up. So the biggest one is Instagram that I come across a lot of times, where people do not have their contact button available. You do not need to put your phone number or email address in your bio. There is a contact button for that. Okay. You're wasting valuable real estate adding your phone number and email address into your bio. Okay, so now let's dive into some specific platform specific tips for creating bios. So Instagram, I've already kind of touched on this, but your handle and your name field should be distinct and they should be different. Instagram bios need to be concise. You only have, I think 150 characters over there, and they need to include a mix of text and emojis to catch the eye. I hate looking at bios that are just straight text. You need something to break up that eye and to catch it. Look at when you are creating your bio, you have 4 lines roughly in Instagram, but when you hit that 4th line, you then have the see more button, and sometimes people won't click that. So you may want to look at shortening your bio to only be on 3 lines so that line break doesn't happen, but you do want to make sure that you're using the lines for better readability. And so when I say that, if you go to someone's Instagram profile and you see on the first line, it says mom, on the second line, it says wife, whatever the case is, they're using line breaks for that. And it just creates better readability across the platform for most people. Okay. So X. X does have a bio character limit as well. Try and be brief to the point. And then with X, you do want to try and incorporate some relevant hashtags on your bio to increase discoverability. You don't have to do that over on Instagram. X, if still relevant, you may want to look at doing that. Personally, I don't do anything on X. I've actually never even had a Twitter account when it was Twitter. So it's not one of my strong suits when it comes to bio creation, but I do know you want to be brief. They have a character limit over there as well, just like Instagram, just like Facebook. And you want to incorporate some of those hashtags for discoverability over there. LinkedIn bios need to be professional and they need to be detail oriented. LinkedIn bios, you have a lot more character count and it's the description, not necessarily like the bio section. If you're looking at a LinkedIn profile, the top part is a little different. So I'm not talking about like that bio. That does need to look professional as well. It needs to have your name and your title. If you're a mortgage professional, you need to include your NMLS on that. But for LinkedIn, the description, you have a lot of characters. So make it detail oriented, highlight some achievements, talk about your professional background. And I like to include at the end a small paragraph personally, maybe what you like or enjoy or, things like that. People do want to get to know you. The thing with Instagram, for example, that you can't do that with is because you have a very limited amount of characters and you're not going to talk about I love boba tea unless your account is all about boba tea. You want it to be very short to this point of who you are and who you serve. But LinkedIn, you can add a paragraph at the end to talk about I love boba tea. I'm a Chick-fil-A lover. I go to Disney. I'm a runner, whatever the case is. Add that into that bottom piece to talk about you and who you are. Facebook also allows, so you have two different sections in Facebook. You have an intro on Facebook, which should mirror your Instagram bio for the most part. That way, so what I do when I do bio creations or bio revamps, I'm putting, pretty much the same things across all the platforms. So it's a consistent message, but in various capacities. So on Google My Business, for example, in the description, I have more characters than I do on Facebook, but I don't have as many characters on Facebook as I do on LinkedIn, and I have a very minimal amount on Instagram. So I want to expand upon what I'm talking about in each one to, max out my character count. I don't max out every one of them, but I want the memo to be the same. Okay. So if I am a USDA loan expert, that is going to be somewhere across all of my platforms. And in some capacity, more written out on LinkedIn, more written out on Google because I have more characters. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about the Facebook intro. But then you also have a Facebook description, and that can be longer. That can mirror like your LinkedIn bio because you have more character counts in your Facebook description, but your intro needs to mirror something close to your Instagram. So you want to make sure that you include all of the information about your business, who you are, what you do, who you serve. Your contact details are in links in Facebook, so you don't need to add those into the bio or the description. Make sure they are available on Facebook. Same thing going back to LinkedIn. There is a contact button in LinkedIn. I highly encourage you log in incognito and check all of your accounts from a standpoint of what a client would see. Or a lot of them will allow you to see it from client standpoint. But if you're unsure, log in into an incognito window and look at your accounts and see what other people see. I guarantee if you're clicking around and you're like, okay, well, if I want to contact this person, where's their contact info? Or if I want to do business with you, let's say you're a mortgage professional, I'm a real estate agent, I want to do business with you, I'm in Florida, I go to your page. Can I do business with you? I don't know. Now I have to click around. Now I need to look at your hashtags or where you've checked in or check your website. No, I need to be able to see where you're licensed right off the bat. Okay. So think about it from a client perspective, what they see when they go to your pages, your highlights on and this is kind of digressing from the bio, but your highlights on your Instagram, right? Like, do they give me good info? Your Facebook, like, is it consistent? Like all of those things, go look at it from a client perspective and read it and see what you think. Okay. Now, here's the steps to kind of crafting your bio. All right. So I love some good steps. If you guys listen to my podcast a lot, you'll hear me kind of tell you steps. So step one, define your brand voice. What type of tone do you want? What style represents you? Do you want it to be professional, casual, quirky, whatever? What type of tone are you going for, right? My stuff is very bubbly. You hear me misspeak a lot. It's just who I am. I may have misspellings and stuff. On my account, I have fat fingers when I'm using my phone. Please note though, on my client stuff, I'm real good about it. But on my phone, when I'm using my thumbs, not so much. Step two, identify some of your unique selling points. So what makes you unique, or your brand? You are your brand. So what makes it unique? What do you offer that others don't? And I know sometimes that's really hard. Like, I'm in the mortgage space. Everyone can do great deals. Everyone can give best rates. But what sets you apart from other people? What can you truly say is your USP? Step three, write a draft. Draft several versions of your bio. Play around with the different formatting, the different wording. Side note, use Chat GPT to help. I have Chatty Patty. That's what I call my Chat GPT. And she helps me write and craft bios consistently. A lot of times I'll have her craft like 10 to 15 different bios. And then I mess around with the bios and change them around and then reword them in the long form bios. That she just gives me a start. But for those of you who aren't really bio creators, your Chat GPT or whatever AI system you use, like Bard, things like that, can be very helpful. And then get feedback. So y'all, ask. If you need help crafting a bio, I do bio creations and revamps, but if you do it yourself and send it to me in a DM on Instagram or wherever, again, you can find me anywhere at the Chelsea Gardner. I'm typically on Instagram the most, but feel free to send me the draft of your bio and I'm happy to give you feedback. Okay. So ask your friends, ask colleagues, ask your audience for their input if you need feedback for that. You want to make sure that you're optimizing some of the platforms for keywords, especially on Google My Business. Incorporate some relevant keywords to help with that searchability. Again, over on Instagram, you've only got searchability in your name and your handle as of right now. But on like Google My Business and LinkedIn and some of those other platforms, you can incorporate some relevant keywords to the industry to help improve some of that searchability, and your SEO strategy, obviously over on Google. And then bios aren't set in stone. Like you don't have to be in love with your bio, right? Marry the house, date the rate. Isn't that the quote? So marry the platform, date the bio, I guess. So you can regularly update your bio to reflect new achievements, services that you might have added, changes in your brand. If you decide that you really want to hone in on being a VA, mortgage professional and really dive into that, like it's okay. Your bios are not set in stone. It's not like you're etching it on a stone and gluing it to the wall. Okay. And so let's kind of talk about effective examples of social media bios. Here we go. Here is one that I love for like a fitness coach. So I'm gonna go through like a fitness coach bio. I typically am just going to kind of walk you through Instagram and I'll give you kind of tidbits for the other ones. So for example, a fitness coach's bio could be like helping you get fit and healthy through online coaching and meal plans. The CTA would be the next line, DM for inquiries. So if I go to this person's, and this is just one that I've typed up, but if I were to go to this fitness coach's page, they are going to help me get fit and healthy through online coaching and meal plans. That is very precise. So I know exactly why I'm following this person, right? Okay. So you want to make sure that your bio is clear, it's concise, it has a strong CTA, it's easy for visitors to understand what you offer, how to get in touch, if you can help them, right? So think about that when you are building out your bio. It's just so helpful when you can be very concise, helping you achieve homeownership through helping entrepreneurs achieve homeownership through DSCR loans or whatever, right? I'm an entrepreneur. You're going to help me get into a home through unconventional ways because conventional ways don't work for me. Okay. So, and then your CTA can be click below for, I don't know, a one-on-one chat. So very concise, very to the point. And it helps. It helps me know, it helps your followers, it helps your ideal client to know what they're following you for. Okay. Now, a lot of times, like I just said, your bio is not set in stone. How often should you update your bio is a question that I get pretty frequently. And it's only when there's significant changes. Y'all, you don't have to update your bio like ever. I mean, it could be set in stone, but if you get new offerings, if you want to change out your brand a little bit, if you want to change out your wording, you can update your bio at any time. It's not necessarily you need to change it out every month. You need to change it out every 6 months. I would review it every 6 months, once a year, if you're not changing it out frequently, just to make sure that it's still relevant and that, if you did have any additional things that you wanted to add to it, but keep in mind, like, it's not something that you have to change out and it's not something that you have to keep. And then a lot of times people use like a link in bio. So if you have a website, add your links. Personally, I am not a fan of the multiple links that you can do in your Instagram bios. Instagram allows you to use multiple links now. I still like just one link, send them one place. I think multiple links gets overwhelming, but they do offer that for those that want to send people. You can link your Facebook business page. You can link your website. You can link, I think you can link up to like five sites. So think about that. All right. So we've covered your bio, elements, what to include, platform specific tips, a little tidbit of an example. So I really hope you take the time. Your homework, I love to always leave you with some homework. Your homework is to go review your social media bios, change them if you need to, send me a DM so I can give you some feedback if you need it. Again, you already have to have it crafted, but if you want a full bio revamp, you can definitely reach out to me. I'm happy to help with that as well. But first and foremost, check all of your sites for contact information. All right. So if you have any questions or need me, please feel free to reach out to me at any platform at the Chelsea Gardner. And until next time, friends, we will chat then. See ya.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode of the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. Make sure to follow me on any of your favorite social platforms at the Chelsea Gardner. And don't forget to hit subscribe for your weekly dose of marketing magic. Until next time, my friend, remember to keep your marketing simple and effective.